you know, because I've always viewed theater as a means to nourish our soul, right?
Yeah.
And I viewed producing really as like, I'm gonna go grocery shop for all the ingredients, and I'm gonna put everyone in the room, and we're all gonna cook together and make something, right?
Yeah. So back to Stratford North maybe
Yes.
a little bit. Stratford North.
Stratford North.
Can we say that?
I think so,
Okay.
yeah.
I love that.
Yes, Stratford North. So the idea really is that, you know, a lot of the very successful theater festivals in across the world all have one thing in common, and that's multiple venues in a centralized location, right? So we have the Sudbury Theater Center that we're in today, our home arena, if you will. We have the new Place des Arts, which is opening, which is very exciting, the new Francophone flagship art center.
Yeah.
And we'll have the Refectorio. And what we want to create is this multi-venue arts festival where we're able to do 6 to 8 productions per summer season, bring in people from all over Canada, hopefully, but predominantly from the Northern Ontario region, and build something that is sort of us and for us here, right? So it's going to be exciting. We'll be able to give a lot of jobs to a lot of artists.
Yeah.
We'll be able to create a lot of opportunities for audience members to see really unique work, sort of the things that they know and love, those big Broadway musicals that they really appreciate and recognize. But also, we're beginning to develop new work. We're going to introduce our audiences to those new stories, things that are locally created. So it's going to be a whole beautiful little cheese board of just brilliant art that people could come and enjoy from artists in our community.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be glorious.
It was so good. Okay, well then let's talk a bit about new work then, because I think I think that's something that people aren't as familiar with you.
Yeah.
I think you want to see a title that you recognize.
Yeah.
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia. That's right. On this very stage. Yep.
But why? What are we doing here? Why is it important?
Yeah.
Because we've done some big things.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a billion reasons why something doesn't achieve the level of Hamilton, Mamma Mia. You know what I mean? There's 1,000 different variables that contribute to that. But the reality is that there's pieces out there that are so incredibly just astounding that will never sort of see the light of day, right? So what we're trying to do with our new work is obviously we want to, again, sort of open those curtains for people, for their perspectives and the stories that they think that they want to know, but offer something new and unique. And the thing that's great about being in a regional community like Sudbury and developing new work is that our audiences and our artists will get to be the first people to kind of dig into that work, right? Because then these pieces, and the goal is that, you know, we could have something start here in Sudbury, moves on to Toronto, moves on to New York. You know, it might seem ambitious or dreamy, but it's actually kind of, that's the formula,
Yeah,
right?
that's how it happens.
But mainly, it's just about exposing people to a wider variety of narratives, right? And we have some amazing artists here in the community. We have amazing artists in Canada. And like I said, we've cultivated that wonderful community of artists from across the country who have come in and worked with us. And I'm really excited about the future of the new work and having Sudburyans and folks from Northern Ontario be a part of the trajectory, right? Saying, I saw that piece when it was just, you know, in the bathroom, right? Maybe we won't do it in the bathroom, but when it was like, you know, in the Black Box Theatre before it moved on to its larger...
Black Box?
The Black
Oh,
Box
I
Theatre.
thought you were talking about my mom.
No.
She's
We
building
love
a
her.
theater.
She should, yeah. So, yeah.
Do you want to talk about renewal at all?
Yeah, I could talk about the two pieces that we've commissioned. So, we have commissioned 2 amazing pieces. By the first is called Renewal by Hee-Sun Huang and Adam Rothenberg. And that is a piece that examines this small town that has been devastated by the effects of a forest fire and climate change. And it examines this community sort of grappling with their complicity in the climate crisis and examining how we move forward, how we renew, and how we could leave the earth in a better position for the people who are going to inherit it. And the other piece is called
Way Out There.
Way Out There, and that is written by Sarah Farb and Anton Lipovetsky.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful piece exploring this young woman set in the 90s who works at Blockbuster in the town of White Rock, BC. And it's very much a story about faith and this young woman who's questioning her faith in this community. It's a really, two really exciting pieces that fit in perfectly with our mandate of youth-driven narratives, stories that kind of explore young people learning to articulate themselves in the world, and stories about community. So we're excited about those.
So excited.
Yes.
Thematically so important.
On a stage very soon, everyone. But first you'll see all the little steps along before it hits full production. So
which is so cool.
Totally.
And so important.
Yeah, because we want people to be able to, I want audiences to be able to come to a piece of theater and not see, you know, all the rest of the work in the periphery, but understand the rest of the work, because it's important. That is actually really important to the cultural fabric, right, of the city. People understanding the work that these artists, people understanding what artists contribute to our community, right? So I think the opportunity to have audiences, artists involved in these projects at various stages is just going to help everyone understand what's at the buffet, right?
Yeah, and you're going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I feel like you're a part of something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You are actively a part of making something, right? Which is important.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, do you want to take a minute and just walk us through the Refitorio at all?
Yeah.
Give us a bit of the dream. How did it start?
Yes.
Where did we start?
So the Refitorio began really, well, first of all, when Christina Mazzotti owned One Sky, the little art shop downtown on Durham Street, I would go there and I'd be selling tickets, and I would walk outside and I would look over that fenced up wall and be like, what's over there? Like this. And I would always dream, like, this would be kind of a cool, because it was a little, you know, it was its own crater, if you will, downtown Sudbury. And I would think, this is kind of dope. We should do something here. And obviously, time got away, but then COVID happened, and Scott Deniston had suggested, like, we should look at that space again. So we went on October 17th, 2020.
Wow.
And we thought, maybe we could do something there next summer, a concert or something, some like impromptu pop-up thing. And then as we started to speak to the city and, you know, all the people who needed to be involved to make it happen, it was like red flag, because it's this quite desolate little vacant lot that was quite dangerous. So I was like, okay, well, what would it take to do this? Okay, maybe if we put $100,000. Okay, it'd be a $400,000 project. Exploded to an almost $3 million project, which at first was terrifying, but I was like, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this. And you just chip away at these things, right, that seem insurmountable. You just kind of go. And then it slowly started to become an avenue to really clarifying our larger artistic vision, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a space that is accessible. So when I was 16 and we started Yes, we had to raise like $40,000 to make it happen.
Yeah.
Not everyone could do that, right? We were lucky. We were really lucky. So if there's a young person or an established artist or someone who's not an artist at all but is 50 years old or 60 years old and wants to maybe write a play, right? A citizen artist. We want those people to have a space that is accessible, where they could come in, throw things at the wall, try things, right? It's going to be this artistic Neverland, this artistic jungle gym, if you will, for people to come and flex their muscles and work and just collaborate, right? So that space, which is going to really give birth to this, it's our hope to give birth to this indie art scene in the community, right? Which will then create that trajectory for you start here and you move up, right? Infrastructure to support all levels of creation is what we need, right? And then, of course, it'll help us achieve that vision of this multi-venue district where we're able to support the larger Yes Theatre Summer Festival, which is very exciting. So it's an amazing project, and miraculously we have done it. We have raised the money, right?
Yeah.
We're just inches away from the finish line, which is, I mean, it's crazy because it really didn't become that large until April, right, of 2021. So we really, in the last like 6-7 months, we wrote all these grants, made these calls, made these pitches, right? As you know, because we've been working on it together.
Yes, I was there.
So yeah, she's been there. Anyway, Refettorio.
Refettorio.
And it's inspired by
Oh.
Massimo Bottura, who's my favorite Italian chef. Massimo had this organization called Food for Soul, which he took these sort of abandoned spaces and turned them into these refettorios, specifically using food waste from restaurants, grocery stores, and brings in these world-class chefs to do these residencies with these residencies in these refettorios, in these kitchens, and they cook for vulnerable citizens in the community. So it was just this astonishing thing that I thought, wow, that feels really correct.
Yeah.
Because I've always viewed theater as a means to nourish our soul, right?
Yeah.
And I viewed producing really as like, I'm gonna go grocery shop for all the ingredients, and I'm gonna put everyone in the room, we're all gonna cook together and make something, right?
Yeah.
So refettorio, it also comes from the Latin root reficere, which means to remake and restore.
Say that to the camera.
Reficere, which means to remake and restore. So
Beautiful.
it just feels, you know what I mean? It feels warm and correct, and it doesn't feel rushed, and it doesn't feel overly ambitious. It feels natural. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What?
The space and how it came to be. So I feel really good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it sort of leads the whole jungle gym analogy is really beautiful too. I think, I mean, we've talked a lot about my course that I took on Greek mythology.
That's right. Yeah.
And just, wow, how's your water?
It's great, thanks. How was that? Was that bad? There's nothing in here. I just thought it'd be a good time. Okay.
So I
go back.
Yeah, so we talked a lot. I mean, I took this course on,
Yes.
Greek history on ancient Crete.
Yes. Yeah.
And we sort
I love
of
this. Yeah.
yeah, I had sort of messaged you, and we were sort of talking about how, wow, you look at these spaces and this infrastructure that's left, and that's all we really have of these people.
Yeah.
At this point.
From these ancient communities, right?
These ancient communities that have sort of rebuilt and built on top of each other and fallen down again. And the theater has
always been there, right? There's always a place of worship, a place of commerce, a place for food, and a place for stories.
Yeah.
And we need that, right? And I think the pandemic, obviously, and artists all over the world have said this over and over again, right? But we've really realized that, though it may not be deemed essential, it is what makes life beautiful, So.
And it is essential in a way that's intangible.
Exactly.
It's kind of what you're saying here about how it feels so right, and it feels so,
Yes.
it's necessary.
It will always
Am I
be.
right? It'll always be.